And a good Tuesday morning to you. Lanny Ford Remember along with you here on the bottom line. Got some rain last night, in case you missed it. Rita Laney, good morning. Glad to have you with us. Came out this morning, everything's wet. Al Conklin said we had thunder boomers coming up from the south all the way to the mountains. I didn't hear any of those. I guess we did. I'll take his word for it. But he said we had some. So we'll go with that because there was wetness and even a little water standing, as a matter of fact, in different places when I went out and got started early this morning. Sad news in the wrestling world last week, and I kind of saw yesterday. I saw this a couple of weeks ago. If you remember a wrestler, his name was Mr. Wonderful. Paul Orndorff passed away yesterday at the age of 71. He had been dealing with dementia. There had been some pictures from his family that had posted, and they had said that he had moved home with a son, and 71 years old yesterday. But I remember watching him and growing up with Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. Yeah. And you may not remember this because you're much younger, but some of our listeners may. When I was growing up, I used to watch wrestling. Used to come on at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. It was World Championship Wrestling. And the ring announcer, long before Bob Caudle and David Crockett and those guys, it was Big Bill Ward. And Big Bill Ward, at one time, was the sportscaster at Channel 9 in Charlotte. And then when he got involved in wrestling, they didn't like that. They wanted to separate those two because they didn't feel like that was appropriate for their guy to be doing that. So anyway, in my first job working in Charlotte, I was working up on North Graham Street, and this was in the mid-'80s, and I kind of wanted to get involved in radio back then. Richie, Bill, good morning. So at that time, to be in radio, you had to have a license. You had to go to school. And the school, the local school down there, you could go to Gaston and do it, but I was working full-time. But there was a weekend school at the Carolina School of Broadcasting. Used to be off Kings Drive, just below where the melting pot is, just below like going to the hospital. So during my lunch one day, that morning, I said, I'm going to see if I can ride down, just get some information, what it costs, and that kind of thing. So I make a phone call. This guy answers and tell him what I'm looking for. And is there somebody there I can come by during my lunch and pick up some information? He said, sure, just come by. And I said, do I ask for you? He said, yes, sir. I said, my name's Bill Vaughn. I said, okay. So I got down there, and who walks out but Big Bill Ward? I said, you're Big Bill Ward. And he started laughing. His real name was Bill Vaughn. And I was starstruck. That was probably one of my first.
That's cool.
This guy was real and a star to me. He had stepped away from wrestling with them, but he was the guy that I grew up with, and he was the guy that we went to TV tapings at WBTV on Wednesday night when they would do it. Of course, wrestling would come to the area, but to see Big Bill Ward in person. And wrestling was just very real to me. I mean, that was just, it's today's is not anything close. And it is amazing when I look through Facebook and I see, especially media people, Cody Dalton, he's a big follower of wrestling. Oh, yeah. Josh McKinney at the record, he's a big follower of wrestling. Our man Jamal Horton is a big follower. All these guys were posting little messages about Paul Orndorff passing yesterday, and I thought that was awesome. I didn't know about it. Wes sent me a link late yesterday afternoon about his posting, and then I started seeing it as the night went on. Andy Sigmund, good morning. Glad to have you with us. Did you watch any of the Home Run Derby last night?
Yeah.
And? Jack Huss, good morning. You like the Home Run Derby?
Yeah,
you like the Home Run Derby better than the All-Star game?
I didn't watch the All-Star game.
That's tonight.
Yeah, I know. I'm not.
I don't
watch it. I'm not going to watch it.
Okay.
I just, the Home Run Derby. I got to tell you, it's great they stand up there and they hit it, but and it's exciting when you see it go so far. But there's so many people that can stand up there and do that
if they're lobbing it in.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're not wearing batting helmets. Nobody is.
And to show you the degree of difficulty in hitting, even with somebody lobbing in, they still pop it up or hit it the other way. The most fascinating thing to me of all this is the two-way player.
Right.
Yeah, that's the most fascinating thing to me because nobody except him does that.
New York Mets, Pete Alonso is the one that won it, Richie. Want to know? He's a repeat.
Yeah, he won it. He won it last year, and he likes to play to the crowd. He's having a good time jumping up, bobbing his head.
But that's what it should be,
right? He's engaged with the fans, and it's neat. And when I say a lot of people, what I mean is it's cool to watch him hit it a long way and do. I don't know, man. It's just not as exciting to me as it was, and that's okay. I mean, things cycle and go through, but hey.
Why is it not as exciting?
I just feel like things are so commercialized now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would never, and that's okay. It doesn't make it wrong or whatever. But you would never see back in the day the American League commingling with the National League.
Mm-hmm.
Before a game or anything like that. I mean, but
interleague play's what got that started.
Yeah, they were maybe, but I think it's more of the kindler, friendlier, gentler nation.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be your friend instead of your foe while we're competing. I mean, it's like that in high school sports now.
Mm-hmm.
East Burke and Freedom. I went to East Burke, Freedom. It took me 2 years to actually like the guys from Freedom that I played American Legion baseball with. Because there was such an intense rivalry. I mean, it took me 2 full seasons. And some of them I hardly even got to know because they were gone in a year. Now, I don't know.
You got some Maiden blood in you.
Yeah.
Maiden folks are like that with other schools.
Well, I am. I tell the guys, I'm like, look, certainly.
I could separate it. It didn't bother me to separate it. I could, for me, I could switch it on and off. It really did.
There's demonization in passion.
Yeah.
And passion by, certain people, that don't understand or have internal drive or motivation don't understand why players or coaches have passion, for what they're doing and why they want to compete so hard. And, you have to grasp onto something that motivates you. And, people say, well, you shouldn't ever dislike somebody just because you're playing. Well, that's your opinion.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's okay. But that doesn't make you right. And it certainly doesn't make you a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, define winner. I mean, anytime you try to marginalize or demonize things or, make everything open to everybody instead of having a set of standards that says, if you do these things, then you can be in this. That's what's happened. Everything's just been watered down. So there's just no excitement. That's why I like to see them go after each other a little bit, when the ball's thrown inside or guys are hitting each other. Well, anyway.
Jack says if you study mechanics in sports, one of it not the most difficult things to do in sports is hit a round ball with a round bat. Learned that at ECU in master's program under Dr. Kendrick Ford.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. I went to ECU too, and I played college baseball. I mean, I understand these things. And I played against Coach Huss's, son, who was a great player. He played for Forest City Legion and, of course, played football. It is, but, when they're lobbing it up there, I think, which is not what Coach Huss is saying, but, it's really not that.
I couldn't play the game, just in case anybody's wondering. I couldn't play the game. Richie was pulling for Trey Mancini, Baltimore Orioles first baseman. And Trey Mancini, the reason is Trey Mancini is recovering from stage 3 colon cancer. Went through biweekly chemotherapy, and this was back in March of 2020. Struggled to stay hydrated, fought through the vulnerable immune system in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, worked his way back, and earned a spot in the Derby with a 16-homer first half. Yeah. Mancini faced the second longest odds of winning the event, then came excruciatingly close to defeating one of his favorites. Milton, good morning. TJ, good morning. Milton sent something in yesterday. Yesterday was Rick Hendrick's birthday, and we were wondering how Rick Hendricks got his start. Mm-hmm. And Milton said that his dad owned Freightliner dealerships.
Okay.
And got him started in the car business when he bought City Chevrolet. That was his first dealership. And the rest, they say, is history.
It's history, no doubt about it.
Because I think how many dealerships he's got now.
The last home run derby that I really, 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 really liked was when Josh Hamilton hit all his home runs.
Well, they said in this one, and I didn't watch it, Alonso hit 74 home runs.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of 500 shots.
Totaling 6.35 miles in distance. But everything you got to take in perspective now. It was at Coors Field.
Yeah.
The balls fly out of Coors Field because of the altitude.
Yeah, sure.
I told you in the match that was played last week, and they played at Big Sky, 7,500 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
It was 777-yard par fives.
Yeah.
It's a little different world when you're talking about that.
Again, I don't want to take anything away from, what those guys do. And, it's just, I don't know, Quinn and I were sitting there watching it, and I don't know. For some reason, I was not like, wow.
Now, when you were talking about two-way players, you're talking about somebody that can hit and
pitch.
Yeah. Okay. I want to go there. I want to take a break because I want to go there. And I want to get your opinion of what you would do with Ohtani, okay, based on what he's doing. And then I'm going to tell you a little story which you may already know about the great Babe. And then we can go from there. Take a break, be back.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
I can.
And welcome back. Brandon said he would have hit more, but only needed small numbers to move on as yet round one. Talking about the home run derby last night. What would you do with Ohtani if you were a manager? How would you play him? What is his greatest strength based on today's game?
Don't know yet. I mean, he's still so good at both. You know, I keep letting the scenario play itself out. I, likely would just DH him, kind of what's being done, and then, let him pitch. But, he's just so good at both. I mean, he's a starting pitcher, right, tonight. Mm-hmm. He and, is it Scherzer?
He'll be he'll be the first one, I think, since Babe Ruth that started pitching and hits. I mean,
yeah, as long as he's efficient and proficient at both.
I don't know if you get in the way. I don't know if you ever get a chance to listen to or watch Dan Patrick, but he is, and if he did a sound bite from when Ohtani hits the bat, hits the ball, he hits it so hard it sounds like a metal bat. And they just could not get past that sound. It is such a distinctive sound when he hits it because of the power he hits it with.
And he connects it. It's kind of what Coach Huss was talking about, the degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
He's 100% right. It is the hardest thing to do, as far as, team sports go. And, you'll have some hockey players that disagree. They'll say that, using the hockey stick while you're moving and hitting the puck is, just as equally as challenging.
Yeah, to me it would be. Yeah, and plus the endurance factor of being.
Right. Hockey. So I don't. I'm not arguing that it is or isn't. I'm just saying that's the counter argument to the hardest thing in sports. But the degree in which he hits the baseball with solid contact, his contact ratio is so consistent as far as solid contact. He just doesn't hit the ball; he drives it. Yeah, I talk this with Quinn all the time. You're not going up there just to try to hit the ball. You're going up there to drive it. Drive it deep, drive it in a gap, hit the ball over the fence. Don't care. Just get there, drive the baseball. Drive it. And, that gives you a different mindset. Well, that's the way that Ohtani does. I mean, he drives the baseball. He gets through it.
Andrew, good morning. Richie said the Pirates took Bubba Chandler in the third round last night in the draft. He had signed to play quarterback at Clemson.
He ain't going to Clemson.
And the Athletics took Mason Miller out of Gardner-Webb in the third round. A couple local players there. have you seen the controversy with Stephen A?
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm trying to figure out why. What he said, he didn't say anything derogatory. He was just questioning. From what I understand, what I saw, he was talking about how Major League Baseball is pushing Ohtani as the kind of the poster child for baseball to get people back involved. His only problem was you're pushing a star that doesn't know English. How does he converse? How does he help promote the game when he's got to have an interpreter to do it? I don't think he was being derogatory. I think he was just talking logistics.
Right. He was asking the question about how difficult would it be for him to carry that message, or are they just using the universal language of athletics and sports as the promotion for it, right? Mm-hmm. So of course, that. Yeah, of course. That
it touched off a firestorm.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I didn't really. I didn't really see what the big thing was. I think he was just actually asking a question, a legitimate question. Now, Andrew says life is a controversy for Stephen A. All he's got to do is swing that bat. Now, talking about Ohtani. Mm-hmm. We had Stephen A. when I was at ESPN 730. We had an extra studio, and if Stephen A., we had Brock Yurd came in.
Oh yeah.
These guys, if they were traveling through Charlotte or had to spend some time in Charlotte, if you didn't know, ESPNU is in Charlotte. So if you were spending some time there, and if you were down there and needed a studio, they would come to our place and do their shows.
Right.
Stephen A.'s national show was done in a separate studio. Brock's was done. He's out of Seattle. And I have always been a Stephen A. fan. That doesn't mean that I agree with everything he says. I just like what he does. Yeah. I like somebody that, just like Jason Whitlock.
Yes.
I like somebody that just throws stuff out there that makes you think about it. And Stephen A. is a little bit different off the air than he is on the air.
Yeah.
And he's local. He went to Winston-Salem State, I think.
Yeah.
But he's a super nice guy and very personable. And there is a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Personality showmanship.
Yeah.
When he's on the air, it's a little bit different.
It's entertainment too.
I don't think that I am. I think I'm pretty well the same all the time. But some of these guys have to kind of almost get into character a little bit. And he's a sports figure that's kind of bigger than life. He always has been. But I just kind of failed to see the controversy. Now, Richie said ESPN's having to deal with a lot of firestorms lately, and they have.
Yeah.
But a lot of those they put themselves in.
Oh yeah, it's
and they're afraid they're going to step on a toe, and then how do we clean that up, and those kind of things. But I just didn't see. I didn't see the big issue with what he said. It wasn't said to be derogatory.
No, and words, obviously, you have to listen close to what people say, but you can spin anything.
Mm-hmm.
And, in an era of heightened immediate media, through all different kinds of media channels or so-called media channels, let me put that out there, that's what you're going to get. Everything is controversy and can be controversial. Everything.
Now, here's what was said. He's leading the majors with 33 home runs and posting a 3.49 ERA. He is baseball's most successful two-way player in decades.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay?
Yes.
And kind of what was said, it said not because of any shortcomings on the field, but because he prefers to normally speak to the media through an interpreter translating his native Japanese to English. While not fluent, Ohtani can speak English, and he also knows Spanish.
Yeah, he's very, very intelligent. I mean, very intelligent guy.
And I don't think, like I say, I don't think this was anything that anybody was taking a shot.
No. He was asking a question. How basically how is he going to communicate? You know, if he's always using that interpreter. Well, now it's going to bring more clarification on how he's going to do that. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people, okay, may have interpreted what Stephen A. was saying as, oh, he's being this or that. That, I mean, again, yeah, you know, it's like I try to tell, you know, my kids all the time, someone else's interpretation of what's going on is not your reality. It's theirs. So they can live in their reality, you live in yours. And the only way you let something bother you is if you value the opinion in any way of the person that's saying it.
Now, here's the actual quote that Stephen A. said. But when you talk about an audience gravitating to the tube or to the ballpark to actually watch you, I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he's saying in this country. There is some degree of honesty in that, and like I say, I don't think he was taking a shot.
No, but because he is a little use some exploitive.
It's because and it's because of who he is and his personality.
Right. So you know, and again, he's very, you know, like you said, sometimes they get into character and get very, very passionate about things. Okay, no problem. Now the other reason I think Ohtani is one of the greatest two-way players in decades, all right, and is because in the United States, you know, obviously he grew up in, you know, Japan and did those. A lot of times you see players like a Madison Bumgarner that can hit unbelievably well. I mean, I saw him when he was 16 years old at NC State in the North Carolina State games, taking, you know, they hit on the field. 16 years old. Now, he has a late birthday, so remember, he's supposed to be a sophomore in high school. He's a junior. He's down there at the state games. Everybody's there watching him. And they're doing, you know, they're hitting, and he's hitting balls over the batter's eye in center field at NC State. 16 years old. And his arms, legs are huge. His arms.
Big youngin.
It was incredible. You know, the whole point of what I'm saying is you know, it's more about doing one.
Now,
who's the great left-hander that – say great left-hander. The really good – Rick Ankiel is a great example. He was the guy that's left-handed pitcher. It threw really hard. All right, it's probably been 20 years ago. Yeah, it was 20 years ago. And he lost his control. He just started launching balls in the stands. So he couldn't get through it. So they moved him down into the AA system, I believe, with the Cardinals. And I was coaching a team in Lenoir at that time, Lenoir Oilers. It was a summer collegiate wood bat league, and we were playing over in Johnson City. And we happened to go out to dinner one night, and we saw him there. And they had him playing outfield and hitting. Well, he made it to the majors as a hitter, back to the majors from pitching to hitting. Now imagine if he had been doing two-way the whole time and the contribution he had made then. Now that's just one example. And again, I'm not downplaying Ohtani in any that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's not surprising that we don't see more of that here because, you know, of the negative connotations that are put on doing both.
Now, when Stephen A. went on to talk about this, he said people are misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the state of the game. I'm talking about the marketability and the promotion of the sport is exactly what Sports Illustrated essentially alluded to in their article last month when they talked about 28% of the players in Major League Baseball are foreign players.
Yes.
If you're a sport trying to ingratiate yourself with the American public the way Major League Baseball is, because of the problems that you've been having to deal with in terms of improving attractiveness of the sport, it helps if you spoke the English language. And that's all he's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball's, even though baseball's making a ton of money, they're in trouble with losing their audience, especially the younger audience, because there's not young kids that are attracted to baseball unless you're a baseballer. Yeah. Baseball is not getting to casual fan.
No, it's not. And the degree of difficulty, I mean, we see this every year in youth league sports. You'll see kids playing until they're 11, 12 years old, 13, And as soon as you back the mound up and start throwing harder, if you don't work at hitting,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're a specialized pitcher only, you can forget it. Mm-hmm. It's over. So we see a lot of kids that are really good athletes when they're young. Oh, he's a great Little League player. Oh, he's this. And then all of a sudden they turn 13 and they back up a little bit, and the world catches up with them, and they don't work at it. That's why you have training facilities opening up, because the local, whatever, are not, don't have the facilities or the appropriate training to take the kids to the next level. It's not about, hey, get your back elbow up and swing up at the ball. I mean, that's what you get. Okay, fine. But to that point, baseball's losing its flair because baseball did it to itself, just like basketball. Mm-hmm. The NBA finals are still going on. I didn't know that till last night.
I can't remember. The playoffs is like a month and a half just for playoffs.
Dude, I remember when I was in college, it was like the first week in June. I was like, really? It's still going on? Like when I was watching the Bulls or whoever play, and I'm like, wow, it's June. They're still playing. But it's July. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I know they started a little later because of, last year they did whatever and all this, but holy cow, man. Brutal.
My man Lenny says he's got a was talking about Bill Ward, Big Bill. Mm-hmm. This is what Big Bill Ward's closing remark was at the end of every program: be good sports wherever you go. You know how a lot of folks have a closing line that they say?
Yeah.
That was Big Bill Ward's. And I remember one of the things that he was kind of famous for a little bit was he was a spokesman for, and I cannot remember the car dealership, but he drove back in the day the big Fend Fury 3, the old Plymouth Fury 3. And I think it didn't even had the push-button transmission, I think, back in the day. I had an aunt that had one of those, and it had a record player in it where you could put singles in it. It set on the there's not a hump anymore because everything's up front. But anyway, I digress.
The Fury.
The Fury, the Plymouth Fury
Love
3.
It.
Yeah, the Fury 3. Let's see. Going back to Babe Ruth. This is he played 22 seasons from 14 to 35. Nicknamed the Bambino and the Sultan of SWAT. But he really didn't start hitting until he was in the league about 4.5 years. Some people estimate that he could have had a home run total of 800, maybe 900 home runs. Wow. Here are the established MLB batting records and some pitching. 714 career home runs, 2,213 RBIs, 2,062 base on balls, a 690 slugging percentage. Now, what's the difference between a batting average and a slugging percentage?
Yeah, so batting average is, for example, when you go to the plate and hit, if you walk, get hit by a pitch, those don't count as at-bats. Their plate appearance is not at-bats. Slugging percentage, is
You've actually contacted with the ball, got on base.
For example, slugging percentage is total number of bases that you have whenever you're hitting. So if you're up at the plate, you're first at bat, and you hit a double, that's 2 bases. Your slugging percentage is 2,000. If you hit a home run, your first at bat is 4,000. But then when you average in all the other official at bats, you don't count walks, hit by pitches, sacrifice bunts, sacrifice flies. It has to be an official at bat, not plate appearance, but at bat. Then that's how you get those numbers.
On base percentage of 1.164, and those last two, the slugging percentage and the on base percentage, still stand.
Yeah, they're remarkable.
Over 100 years.
They're remarkable.
He's regarded as one of the greatest sports hero in American culture, is considered by many to be the greatest baseball player of all time. Elected to Baseball Hall of Fame as one of the first 5 inaugural members.
Oh, yeah.
He was raised in an orphanage,
Yeah.
in case you didn't know. Did he have did he have the negative baggage that some other superstars? I mean, Mickey Mantle had a tremendous amount. Ty Cobb, there were their attitudes, the way they treated people, the way they treated fans. I don't think Ruth had any of that, did he? Or you didn't see it?
Yeah, I'm sure that there were some things that were around. I know that there was, I think in one or two of the movies they made about him, that there was a couple of things that they had tried to throw in there about, how much he enjoyed cigars and eating hot dogs and drinking beer in a dugout and things like that. I mean, whatever. What he did, era specific, is, like you said, those two records are still held to this day. That in itself is just mind-boggling to have the numbers he had. There is no way, with the way things are set up today, that anybody's going to do anything close to that.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
And that is why is that? Because they won't play as much? They don't.
I think they play as much, but they play more. And therefore there's the game of baseball has such a large margin of error when it comes to hitting that it actually, the longer season, like they didn't have this long season like Ruth never had these long seasons.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys that played, didn't have like they got today.
So they accomplished more in less time.
Amount of time. But but then again, you got to go back and say, okay, they were facing pitchers that were throwing all 9 innings. They weren't facing a guy throwing 94 for 5 innings, a guy coming in throwing 99, a guy coming in throwing 101, a guy coming in. And people say, well, that doesn't matter. They did. I'm talking era specific, and yes, it does matter.
Right.
If you've ever hit a ball that is 90 miles an hour or greater or tried to, yes, it does matter. Okay? Yes, it does. And if you've done that and you want to discuss that with me on why it doesn't matter, then that's fine. We can have that discussion off air, and I will listen, and I'll be very nice, and I'll tell you that you're very incorrect because you really don't know what you're talking about. Okay? So that's one of the few things I'll actually do. The degree of difficulty, but again, with what he did, era specific, that will never be duplicated. It can't be.
Yeah.
It can't.
Well, the game's changed.
Well,
the players changed.
Do you think they talked about spin rate with a dead ball?
Yeah.
Do you think they talked
didn't know what
about,
that was?
No. Do you think they talked about the mechanics of hitting that, now you need to try to drive the ball into the air instead of through the infield and things like no way, man.
You know where his training began?
Probably – hold on. Wait. I think somewhere in North Carolina. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Is it down east? Mm-hmm. Is it it wasn't Kinston. It was Sanford. No. Hold on. Let me think through it. Got to pull it out. Fayetteville? Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
And somebody else had a legendary shot in Fayetteville as well.
And during that era?
Mm-hmm.
Cobb?
Thorpe.
Oh, Jim Thorpe. Yes.
Jim Thorpe.
Yes.
Yep. He played.
God, that's
he
awesome.
played there too. And of course, everybody knows about the curse when the Red Sox sold him
for an astronomical amount of money.
They said that
insane.
he never got an opportunity to manage because of the lifestyle that he led as a player. The drinking, the womanizing. That's one of the things that they say in here is the womanizing that he did. Drinking and womanizing. And I still say that there's a lot more of that going on than you'd like to admit, and a lot more of that went on back in the day as well. But we lost him at a young age. Lost him at the age of 53.
Yeah.
Which relatively young. I mean,
they go back and demonize him. Okay, the things he, for perception.
But the good things that he did too.
Yeah, I mean
he did a lot of positive things as well.
It's just like people going back saying, "Well, he shouldn't have done those things." Yeah. I'm like, I mean, it's like talking about the steroid era in baseball.
Yeah.
Those guys did nothing that was against the rules.
Because it wasn't against the rules.
Right. Now, was it the right thing to do?
It was
No.
discouraged, but it wasn't against the
right.
rules.
So, I mean, well, they shouldn't have done that. They should. I mean,
everything's
okay,
relative.
Okay.
Everything's
okay.
relative. Yeah.
The next thing you're going to hear is somebody say, well, if you wear contacts, and that helps you see the ball better. And I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Take a final break. Back for more.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Stiefel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stiefel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Welcome back. Another little wrestling tidbit here from Lenny. Lenny said the dealership also furnished him with Plymouth Barracudas, which they called Big Bill's Barracuda as he drove around Charlotte. That was back in the day.
Barracuda.
What was the dealership, Lenny? Do you remember? Was it something called Metrolina, maybe? Metrolina? Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge? I can't remember. I wished I could, but he's no Mean Gene Okerlund, but he was a legend to us. Big Bill was back in the day. Me and Lenny's same age, so we can relate to this old stuff. Babe Ruth played for the Red Sox, the Yankees, and then 1 year for the Boston Braves.
Yeah.
Short stint.
Yeah.
Short stint.
Yeah.
He led the American League in home runs during a season 12 times. And when he was sold, it fueled Boston's 86-year championship drought and popularized the curse of the Bambino superstition.
Yep.
What was the guy? Bartman, the Chicago Cubs. Was it Bart?
Yeah.
That they say interfered with the ball and cost them. Steve Bartman. Yeah, and you know, he still lives in seclusion to this day, and that's over. I know it's well over 20 years ago when that happened. But wow,
he's lucky he got out there alive.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is that people pin everything on one occurrence.
Yes.
And that's why they're sitting in the stands instead of playing on the field.
Yeah. Milton says everybody's running around butthurt. Yeah. Duck, good morning. Ronnie, good morning. Glad to have you.
That's fantastic.
Andrew said the first step in getting the casual fan to look your direction is to get political correctness and publicity back out of the sport. It has to become an escape again for the casual fan to get back on board. Elizabeth, good morning. Walker Mail, good morning. But the sad part about it is most of the leagues want the casual fan that really doesn't care about the game. They're just trying to sell tickets, eyeballs.
That's where the process is messed up.
And
That's
revenue,
exactly right.
They're not in it.
That's right.
To really support, and I've said this before, that became the downfall of NASCAR.
That's a great example.
I mean, that was the first one that went down that road, and they've never recovered. They had a couple years that were pretty decent.
I think the NFL's in trouble. I think because the younger, like you talked about, the younger audience that doesn't watch baseball, they don't watch football. They do not. I think they're in trouble.
We'll see this year. See how.
I don't think you'll see it in the next 5 years or 8 years. I think you'll see it in the next 10 to 20.
It will be a.
And I hope not, because we have an outstanding young man in Maiden that, obviously is playing with the Tennessee Titans now. And Caleb, that was pretty cool. He came out. We were working the kids out yesterday. He came out and worked with the kids some, and we had a great time. But there's a lot of really great things going on. With these players in the NFL. The problem is it's kind of what Andrew's saying. There's going to have to be some long-term focus on things instead of the right now.
Richie said the bad part about it, all sports are in trouble. The pandemic also showed America that we don't need sports to survive because we lost them, which is sad.
There was a lot more that's going to come out of this pandemic and the realization. Not only did it redefine work-life balance, but it also addressed brought to the forefront addressing the matters that are most important to each person, and a lot of things that people thought they had to have, or really, really thought they wanted, were really just habits, and because that's what they thought they needed or wanted, when it was not provided, then they realized it was not there. That's why it was such a big deal when things were shut down, because like it or not, it was a major disruption I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I just follow me.
Right.
Okay, I'm not getting into that. I'll leave that for the angry people.
Right.
All right. I'm not saying it was right or wrong to do that. What I'm saying is it really made people think about what was most important to them. Some people, it was family.
Reprioritizing.
I mean, yeah.
Life.
You know, and you got to find out there for, 2 to 4 weeks how much you really like the people in your house.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Real quick. And if you were dysfunctional in any way, which I'm sure we all are, but it brought to light a lot of things. And some of them were good, some of them were very unfortunate, I'm sure. And it's just a different you can't take people away from something and then expect them to jump right back into it like it never happened. Mm-hmm. That goes against human nature. Because we only see as a people what's in front of us, forest for the trees.
And real short attention span.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's here, it's over there, it's over there, it's over here. Mm-hmm. Look how much drama there is today, all right, and how heightened things are versus 30 years ago when drama was compartmentalized within a community itself and not really on a national basis. Now everything's national with a little bit of drama within the – I mean, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's, but it's because of the way that we can effectively or ineffectively communicate and how rapid.
It's amazing how something major like that has to happen to get you to refocus and look at what you really need to put your time and
effort
into.
What's most important to you? Addressing the matters most important to you. That's it.
I just don't get it.
It's
Lenny said, going back to Big Bill Ward, he thought it was Charlotte Chrysler Plymouth Dodge back in the day, but he wasn't positive. Lenny's the closest thing I got to a fact checker because Lenny, he plays in facts and all that kind of thing. He's the one that kind of keeps us straight here, and he is I guess you'd say he's the off-air statistician that we have here. They ranked. Let me do one quick NFL thing. They ranked running backs, and running backs has become a position that is expendable inside the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, this was executive. This was executives that did this.
Right.
I'm going to start from 10 and go up. Josh Jacobs with the Raiders.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
23. Joe Mixon, 24, number 9, the Bengals. Aaron Jones with the Packers, 26, number 8.
Yep.
Zeke Elliott. I think he's overrated. He got the money, and he's went downhill ever since.
I just don't know
25. He signed a $75 million extension.
Did you see that quote? I barely see that. They need to give Zeke some of Dak's money, and AFC defensive coach said he scares you the most on that offense.
I don't think so. I don't think he's anywhere close to the player. And the other side of it is you're going to start seeing how real important he is because he doesn't have the offensive line that he had when he set those numbers a couple of years ago. That Dallas offensive line has started to go down, and people, for some reason, want to think that the two don't go together.
Oh, ask Emmitt Smith if they go together.
In a heartbeat. Saquon Barkley, age 24 with
Great
the Giants,
player.
number 6.
Love that guy.
McCaffrey is number 5. Now, we'll see how he is after the injury. We'll see how he is after the injury. Number 4, Nick Chubb. Cleveland Browns,
That's fair.
age 25.
Yeah, he's tough.
Dalvin Cook
like
with the Vikings, age 25. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Alvin Kamara. Now, the thing that makes Kamara such a weapon is he's also such a threat out of the backfield for the pass. That's the thing. That's the new running back in the NFL, not the bruisers.
Yeah,
not
he
the
can
bruisers.
tuck and run.
He's number 2. Number 1, 27 years old, Derrick Henry. He is a bruiser.
So it's interesting that Derrick Henry's number 1 for multiple reasons, and I think that's right. I mean, obviously, all of this is arguable of where they are, but what kind of offense did he play in college?
Oh, yeah, a running offense.
Okay. So what was he taught to do that a lot of the backs don't do today? Run between the tackles.
Yeah.
So, that's not true. We run a power spread. We run between the tackles. We just spread out. Let me tell you something. Yeah, but you take 2 lateral steps before you go downhill. That dude is downhill all the way. He's learned that since he was in high school. All right. Worked at probably middle school, worked his tail off. And now it's not real hard to teach a running back how to bounce. Right? Now, it's hard to teach him to get up inside.
Let me give you a couple little stats that will blow your mind. Derrick Henry hits almost 11 miles an hour by the time he hits the line of scrimmage. That's a quick first step right there. And he's massive. He's a big youngin. He's
so strong with it. I love it.
Now, the other thing, no other back with 150-plus carries surpassed him except for Lamar Jackson. And he is 80% effective on third down.
Oh, yeah.
Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he could not play. He could not play for the Carolina Panthers because we run the draw.
Right. No. yeah, literally. Think about it. Second down. I was telling the guys yesterday. We talk about defensive strategy. I was talking to our kids. Second down in high school football is the absolute most important down.
We talked about that briefly.
Right. Mm-hmm. But what that tells you is that maybe in the Tennessee Titans scheme of things, that when they're second and whatever, then third down is manageable, which gives you the option to run or throw it, and that's why Henry's so good. When a lot of these teams you see 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, or 3rd and 18, no running game. Guess what? They can run or throw on second down if it's second long. That's where I'm telling you.
But the other side of it that makes it, the thing that makes it effective is when you have running backs that are practically as effective on the short pass as they are running the ball.
Completely agree.
Your defense has to make more adjustments on what to expect.
Yeah, they got to put the defense has to go with a little bit faster personnel to try to contain things outside, right? So that's where again Henry running between the tackles, puts things at a disadvantage for defenses. I mean, it's very hard to defend. When it's 2nd and 1, I'm not going to line up in a goal on defense and try to stop you, okay? I'm going to go and play a regular D, let you get a set of first downs, and try to get second and whatever, and then make it 3rd and terrible, okay? That's not what is happening, because of Tennessee Titans and their ability to do what they do. And who doesn't get enough credit is the quarterback for the Titans.
Yes.
Because he's not he was a receiver his first 2 years in college. What does he do? He manages the game.
I'm going to tell you about a coach that did some traveling with me. Clayton, good morning. Richie says Henry's a beast. Milton says Henry's a bulldozer.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Tim Smith, good morning. Rich said a lot of people also found out how expendable they were with companies when they had to be loyal to, whether it's correct or not. Like Richie, even in medical, had to be furloughed for 2 months, going back to what we were talking about, how you had to adjust your priorities.
Oh, absolutely.
I traveled with a coach, a local coach, that did some color work with me doing radio, and one of his favorite things to say that goes back to what you were saying is you have to stay ahead of the chains.
I know who that was.
You have to stay ahead of the chains.
I heard it a lot, too.
I bet you did.
Young man.
I bet you did.
There's 3 things in football. Number 1, you must be able to block.
Yep.
Number 2, you've got to tackle. And number 3, stay ahead of the chains.
Stay ahead of the chains. Have a good day.
Well,
Juju's back in the house tomorrow. I think he might still be in Wisconsin. I don't know. Have a good one.